project we did. The project is called an experimental evaluation of movement devices used to assist people with reduced mobility in high-rise building evacuation. Before I start this presentation, I want to thank a few people who supervised this project. First of all, I want to thank various schools for their support. Secondly, of course, Professor Freiman from the University Hospital in Belgium, in Ghent, because they did also a big job in this research. And last but not least, I want to thank Ed Belia, because he had a tough job in changing my country boy English into straightforward, how should I say that, English, more scientific English, let me say it like this. So, it's a project from the Fire Safety Engineering Group of the University of Greenwich, and together with the University Hospital of Ghent, I already mentioned that. Just to give you an idea for the people who've never been there, it's in a very nice location. This is the Hospital of Ghent. This is the best picture I could get, but you can see it's a very big area, lots of buildings, and we did the trials for this research project on one of the Abilities buildings, and it has 14 floors. How did we get to the people from Ghent? Well, actually, the people in Ghent already had been producing lots of books regarding manual handling techniques for evacuating people. Yeah. In fact, we are, in this moment, we're also working on a project to produce a handbook for emergency teams. That will be in English, and that will be now on the market somewhere this year. But this is how we got to this hospital. And that was mainly because we didn't want to have untrained people using these devices. So that's one of the reasons that we chose this hospital, because they're professionals in manual handling, day-to-day base, and that's why we asked them to join in the project. I must tell that for me it was a very privilege to work with a very motivated team, well, it was very positive, because the project in total took almost 2 years. The trail lasts only 2 days, but the total project was around 2 years. The devices we have compared is first of all the stretcher, the carry chair, the slide sheet plus the mattress, or in America they say drag mattress. And we use the evac chair. Well, perhaps you would say, why did we use these devices? Well, we didn't want to interfere with the policy of the hospital. So we just were looking what do they have in that hospital, what are they using. So it's not our business, it's their risk assessment, it's their own procedure, and that's why we took these 4 devices, also because they have described them in the handbooks how to use them during emergencies. The teams, well, first I want to give you a slight idea of what we were doing, how we were preparing the trials. Then I have a kind of a video to show you exactly the trials, and then at the end I give you the results. So it's kind of 3-part of the presentation. We had 2 female teams and 2 male teams, also to see if gender would be an issue. And we had 2 persons with reduced mobility, but of course these were not really people with reduced mobility, it were people of their own staff who did as if they had this mobility issue. Because again, it could have been a problem to get this through the ethics committee. Well, on the stairs, just to give an idea, on the top left you see the stretcher. Well, in the stretcher you always need 4 people to carry it down the stairs. It's very tough. Like ambulance people, for example, have to carry a stretcher down with 2 people. But that's, again, if you have someone of 100 kilo on a stretcher, that's a very tough job. Person on the stretcher and on the devices we had for this research was always someone of 75 kilos, so that we had an average. The device on the right top is a carry chair, and because it were the female handlers, they changed the procedure. So in the past they had a procedure that 2 people could lift the carry chair. But during the trials and practicing for the trials, they saw it was a tough job to go down more floors. And that's why they changed the procedure. For female, it's now 4 people to carry someone down the stairs. And then on the bottom left, the slide sheet. So with a slide sheet and a mattress, or drag mattress, you need at least 2 handlers to get someone down the stairs. In the bottom right, evac chair. Well, during emergency situations down the stairs, one handler would be enough. But it could be if you have to travel on the floors, that they need an extra assistant to open doors, to be faster. But also on the stairs, if you have someone in the evac chair, it would be nicer if someone was walking next to them to feel them more ease, that they are more at ease to go down the stairs. But again, in emergency, they wouldn't use the extra assistant. Of course, we had a participant consent form, so everyone taking part in the trials agreed with us that we could use the videos. And we might use them for training use and for information use, for research use, but not for public use. So I see some people with cameras, so I would appreciate if you show the videos that you don't take pictures or don't take a camera with that. Yeah. Then we did only do the trials, but also we had questionnaires for the people who were doing the trials. In total, we had about 6,000 questions, so it was a big job to get through that. But we thought that the idea that people had that were doing this, that it was very important information for us to use for further research. Questionnaires, so at the end of every trial, each had to go in a room. So the handlers and the person with reduced mobility should be in a separate room from the group. And then they had some time to fill out these forms. We also had observers, a group of observers. On every stairwell we had an observer, and on every floor there was one observer. Also we had some people in the control room, looking at what was happening. So one marshal was at the control room and one was with the group. So if something would happen during the trials, they could immediately stop the trial so that nothing would happen. Recording was done by stopwatches, by video camera, roaming camera, but also the fixed cameras on the stairwell. So in total we had a set of 15 cameras, all connected to one recorder. And the time was set new every trial, so the timeline was the same on every camera. So we could compare very well the situation. To give you an idea of the trials, so we had 2 days, and we did 16 trials on every day for 2 days. So in total we had 32 trials, and we also we were very careful that we had at least every team had enough time to rest, so they wouldn't get exhausted during the trials. Yeah. In the morning part, we always had the. Oh, I see. This is still the Dutch one, but well, sorry for that. So in the afternoon we did the group parts, and in the morning it was the part of the team only, without the group passing. And the other day we did the other 2 devices, so the carrier chair and the slide mattress, or the drag mattress. Of course, it's not only the trials, but because it was in a hospital building where there was still operating, we had to inform everyone in the hospital. So, in the week before the trials, these posters were put on every door around the complete hospital. So, doctors were informed, patients were informed, visitors were informed. And this was all necessary, so if alarms would sound, that they would know that it was for a drill, for an exercise, so that they didn't start evacuating the hospital. And at the end of the day, of course, after every trial day, we had a debriefing for the people involved. I want to show you now the evacuation route to give you a bit of an idea. So we started the trials from floor 11, and we started from a start line at point 1. Do I need a big microphone, or can you understand me like this? That's fine? Also in the back? Yeah. Okay. So from the start line here, they had to go into a patient room. They had to do a transfer from a wheelchair in the device. Then out of the room, down the corridor, about 63 meters, till the stairwell, and then down for 11 floors, and then out to the assembly point.